Good evening, people. We are here with part 22 of Condensed Chaos by Hines. So my witches, my wizards, my warlocks, magicians, maguses, and magi, strap yourself in, because we're about to go in. We're still on topic of DRAT, and if you remember, DRAT was the acronym, and it was discipline, relaxation, attention, and transformation. Let's go. DRAT can be applied within a wide variety of life situations. There's a lot of rhymes there. But is particularly useful when learning new skills and abilities which require practice and repetition. A good deal of magical training is the learning of new skills and abilities which are applied at first within a ritual space. However, it is a limitation to be competent and confident only within a ritual space. The trick is to be able to apply these skills and techniques into wider and wider areas of one's experience, until magic becomes not so much something that you do occasionally, but a set of principles for dealing with the world through which you move. Body-mind training. Relaxation is itself a good starting point for magical training. Particularly as to relax, you have to be aware of your body. There is a great tendency to forget the body and live inside one's thoughts, to the level where we feel that the body is something which carries our minds around. Western approaches to magic have, over the last few decades, become very cerebral and abstract. Relaxation is a good counter-exercise for this. Also, learning the ability to relax can be seen as the beginnings of sorcery, as an act of willing a change in one's reality. Relaxation technique rests on the skill of uniting thought, breath, and action. On a very practical level, it requires that we understand the relationship between thoughts, feelings, and physiological changes in the body. Through the course of each day, we tend to experience stresses of one kind or another. Our responses to stress are very individual. Some people enjoy a level of stress that others would find difficult to cope with. Our ability to cope with stress factors changes according to environmental fluctuations. Stress factors are also cumulative, and the general response to stress overload is to trigger the flight-fight response. The liver releases stored glucose into the bloodstream, the heart pumps faster, muscles prepare for action, and the digestive system shuts down. If the body is geared up for flight or fight, but there is no possibility of physical or psychological resolution, chronic problems can develop. For example, muscle tension can develop into headaches and pains. A further problem is that often we do not modify our expectations about what we can realistically achieve, even when we are no longer operating at peak performance. This is known as performance dissonance. There is a gap between what we think we can do and what can actually be done. The struggle to meet unrealistic expectations reinforces feelings of anxiety and low self-esteem, which of course places more stress on the body-mind. To be able to relax effectively then requires the ability to identify the symptoms of stress. Secondly, you have to examine your habits and attitude and ask yourself, are they likely to reduce stress or increase it? You must be prepared to change factors in your environment, your lifestyle, and your habits. You must also be prepared to accept that some factors will be beyond your control and must be dealt with by other approaches. Anxiety has three interrelated components which form an anxiety loop. Firstly, stress factors give rise to physiological arousal. Thought, oh no, I get really upset when this happens. Secondly, this arousal is interpreted as anxiety. Thought, just as I thought, I'm getting anxious. Thirdly, the identification of the physiological arousal as anxiety triggers negative self-statements. I'm going to faint and be sick because of this scene, which of course tends to lead to further stress. So how can this anxiety loop be broken? Again, effective relaxation requires three components. Firstly, there is the physical. Learning to breathe deeply and easily, applying the simple breathing techniques of basic meditation techniques is excellent, as are patterns of muscle relaxation. Secondly, there is the cognitive element. This relates to thoughts and feelings which arise out of physiological changes. it is necessary to be able to identify these habituated thoughts and change them. Much has been written in the New Age movement about positive thinking and affirmations, and these concepts should not be discounted. It is all too common for us to deliberately invoke anxiety by visualizing a potentially stressful situation and anticipating all the things which could go horribly wrong, and thus prepare for a situation by worrying about it. Self-affirming thoughts reduce stress. Equally, when anticipating a potentially difficult situation, it is more effective to visualize yourself making a realistic assessment of the situation, trying out suitable approaches and considering possible alternatives. Acting out or rehearsing by visualization tends to make the real thing less awesome. Thirdly, there is the behavioral element. The ways in which we respond in stressful situations are often inadequate or appropriate. Being able to relax means that we use the skill in a wide variety of situations, and also evaluate other behaviors and change them. Alright, we're going to stop there. Hope you enjoyed that read, and we will be back tomorrow, of course, with more Condensed Chaos. Have a good night.